So in this video I'm going to explain you about immutable in Java. So first is, what is immutable object? So immutable means that once object is created, its state cannot be changed. State means its internal value cannot be changed. Its content cannot be changed. Basically the metadata inside the object cannot be changed. For example, so think of a printed book. Okay, once a book is printed, you can read it, but you cannot erase or change the word in it. So that is the example of immutability. Basically we are just reading the value, we cannot change it. So this is the best example. String is the best example for immutable. So string class in Java is immutable. For example, if you try to change the string, the Java does not modify the original object. Instead, it creates a new object in a memory. So don't worry, I will explain you via code. First we will go through the theory. The first is string s1. So we assign here hello, and string es2 we assign the s1 concat the word. So here is the example. Wait. So here, so this is the string. For s1 we assign hello world, and for as1 and we use concat method to append this world, correct, and we assign it to s2. So when I print this, so it will print hello, and when I print this s2, it will print hello world. Let's see. So its state cannot be changed. S1 remains the same. Still we modify it to hello to the world, but actually could not modify it. So that is the immutable classes. The state cannot be changed. The first state is hello. We try to modify it in s2, but still it cannot modify it. So that's why it print s1 as hello and s2 as hello world. Okay, so that is, and here you can see the s1 remain unchanged even if you're calling concat. That is the immutability. Okay, so that is state we cannot change. Immutability is useful. So first is thread safe, and second one is caching, and third one is predictable behavior. So thread safe. So immutable object can be shared across the thread without synchronization and caching. Since the object doesn't change, it can be safely reused. For example, Java caches string literals in a string pool. And third one is predictable. So you don't have to worry about the unexpected changes. So don't worry, I will explain you this with real-time example. So first is thread safe. So immutable object can be safely shared across the multiple thread because their state cannot be changed. So there is no need to synchronization since no threads can modify the object. Okay, so with real life example, let's take example of a train ticket. So imagine you buy a train ticket online. Once the ticket is issued, it has fixed information like username, train number, seat number, etc. You can share the ticket detail with your friends and save it in multiple devices. Okay, nobody can change the ticket information, so there is no confusion or conflicts even many people have viewed it at the same time. Okay, so don't worry, I will explain you with the via code. So basically, so this is a thread save. First this is the thread save. So this is the train ticket. In train ticket we are having passenger name, train number, seat number, we are having constructor, we are having getters, and this is the main method. So we are initializing this object with passing the value like John, train number and seat number, and the reference is created, and this object we stored in a heap memory, and this reference point to that location where the object is stored. Okay, and this is a thread. This is a thread that here this is calling to start the thread. So when I run it, so it will give the same output, that is John. So that's why it is a thread safe. Then so no matter how many threads access the ticket, its data will be always remain the same. So this is example. So he's saying the data will always remain the same, like train ticket always remain the same if anyone can read it but no one can modify it. So that is a thread safe. And second one is caching. Okay, so immutable object can be reused safely because their state doesn't change. For example, Java uses string pool to reuse the object. So reuse of metro card. So imagine you have a metro card. Okay, if it has unlimited ride for a day, you don't need a new card every time you take the metro. You can reuse the same card because its purpose doesn't change. So this is an example. This is cached. So we are using this s1 equals to hello, and for s2 we are also using the hello. Both points to the same object in a string pool. So in string pool, these are two reference s1 and s2. These two references are pointing to the same location. Okay, so when I print this s1 equals to s2, it will give true. See, it will give true. Then even you create a new string, it value is reused from the pool. Suppose if you try to create an object using new keyword as new hello, and here using intern, so you will ask question that why you are using this intern. So intern, what it did, that intern is explicitly forcing, we are explicitly forcing that search if this object is present in the string pool. If it is present, then return the same. If it is not present, then you can create a new one. If you don't mention it directly, it will create the new object. So when I use stored it in a s3, so it will give s1 equals to s3, it will give true. See, this is the true. So this is like a caching. So caching, like if the object is same and you are using the multiple reference, then if you are using the thousands of reference with the same object, then thousands of reference point toward the same location. So that is the caching. Okay, so what does intern means? I told you that when you call the intern method on string, it check if identical string is already exist in a string pool. Okay, if string exists in a pool, it return the reference to that string. And see, if the string doesn't exist, it adds the string to the pool and return its reference. Correct? So this thing already I have told you in a code. So why it is used? So it helps to save the memory by ensuring the same literals is used from the pool instead of creating the new object unnecessarily. So this is a memory efficient thing. And third one is predictable behavior. So immutable object always retain the initial state, making them predictable. Okay, so predictable means that we already know this sorry, not this one. we already know this is the value that we are passing. So this is predictable that this value no one can change. So that's why immutable object is always retain the initial state, so making them predictable. Okay, it's like here is a real-time example for predictable behavior. So when your passport is issued, the detail like name, passport number, date of birth cannot be changed. Whenever you show it at the airport, the information remains the same. So there no surprises. If the passport could be modified, you might be face issue. Changing your name last minute and could delay the verification. So this is a real-time example you can see in an interview. This is a code also I have mentioned over here. Like this is a train ticket and this is a train number seat. That this example already explained you. This is a like passport and this is a passport number and this is a name. So here we are passing their name and the passport number. Okay, so these are the predictable value that we already know that the state will cannot be changed, so that is a predictable. So that's why this is a predictable behavior. And then how to create the custom immutable class. So there are some rules we have to follow it. You can create your own immutable class by following this rule, like make the class final to prevent the subclassing. So this prevent anyone from subclassing and modifying the behavior like this. This is a student class and we have created here final. Then second rule is mark the field as a private and final. So this cannot be directly accessed or modified from outside. So mark this field as a private and final. And don't provide setters. So no way to change the value once set. So in this method we are setting only getter. There is no setter. Okay. And last one is return the copy of mutable object instead of returning the reference. So no way to modify the original state of objects. I am saying about object, not primitive type. So I will explain you with real-time example. So here what is saying, returning the copy of mutable object instead of returning the reference. So I will explain you with via code that what happen if you return the original field, or what happen if you return the copy of mutable object. So this is the example where I am returning the directly the object, that is original object. So this is the student class, these are the field, that is name and the subject, and this is mutable field. Okay, so here we are setting getter and we are directly passing the original object, okay, in a getter. So in main method we have created the list. In that subject there is a subject list and we are adding the first is maths, second one is science, and when we call this student we are passing their John and their subject. Okay, then this object will create and store it in a heap, and this is a reference of this object. So when I pass this John and this subject, this constructor get called, and whatever the value you pass from this field that initialize. And when I print this, I will show you what happened. So what it get print, that is maths and science. So when I use this getter, so this will directly give these subjects, that is maths and science. Okay, so when I try to modify it like subject dot add history, and when I use this student dot get subject, it will directly return, it is modifying this mutable class list. So this is breaking the rule of immutability, because we are passing the original object. So we are passing the original object of this field. So that's why we can able to modify this string from outside the class. So this is breaking the rule of immutability. So that's why you are returning the copy of mutable object instead of returning the reference. So this is the example. We are just passing the new reference. So this is the student class. So this is the example with we are passing the copy of the object. So this is the name, this is subject, and this is the constructor. Okay, and here we are returning the copy of this reference. Okay, so when I create this list, we are adding maths, we are adding science, and we are initializing this, and when we try to print, it will give maths and science. And again here doing the same thing, this subject dot add. Okay, we are adding in a history, but when I use this method, that is subject dot get subject, so what exactly he is doing? So this is the subject, this is the original subject which is stored in a heap. So it will return the original state of this student which is present in a heap, and create a copy and return in this method. So when I run it, so see, we cannot able to modify this list. Okay, we are not allowing this to modify the list from outside. Okay, so that's why for object type we have to return the copy of the reference instead of directly return the reference. So why don't immutable type need copies? So since the immutable object cannot be changed after they are created, there are no risk of accidental modification by another piece of code. So when you return a reference to an immutable object, the caller can use it safely without affecting the original. So don't worry, if you don't understand it, I will explain you with the code. So I will give you example of string and integer. So for a string I can have, so yeah, so this is a test class, this is a string name. Okay, and we have created the test class, we have created object of test class. So this object will stay in a heap memory, and this is a reference of it. And when you try to get the name, it will give the hello. So directly return the same object reference, and so it will print hello. And if you want to assign the new string to name, it won't affect the original object. So this is name dot world, and we are using name. So if you try to print this, it will give hello world. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what is saying that when you return a reference of immutable object, the caller can use it safely without affecting the original. Means this is the original test class. Okay, we have modified here. Okay, so this is a hello, we are modify with the hello world. But if you when you try to get this test object, so this is the original test, so when I again try to get it, it will give the hello. Okay, so that's what it's saying, that since the immutable object cannot be changed after they are created, so there is no risk of accidental modification by another piece of code. So when you return an reference to an immutable object, the caller can use it safely without affecting the original. So this is the original. Without affecting original, we can get the value. For integer also same, there is no difference. The same, we are creating this new, and we try to modify age plus 5, this will print 30, and when I again to try to get this without modifying this original, it will give the same 20. When you modify it, it will get 30, but original value, original object, this cannot be changed. So now the real life analogy, school report card. Imagine a school give you your report card. Okay, the bad design, like the school hand you with the original report card. You can modify your grade and it directly affect the school record. Okay, so if you give original report card, you can modify a grade and directly affect the school report card. Okay, instead of that, if you return the copy, then the school gives you the photocopy of your report card. You can mark it, fold it, or even tear it, but the original record in a school database remain the unchanged. Okay, so this is second example. Let's share photos. Imagine you take photos of an event and share them with other. Okay, so if you hand over the camera with a memory card, if someone delete, edit, or the photos, the original are gone. Okay, so this is for returning the reference, I'm saying. So if you're returning the copy, you send the copy of the photos via mail or print, the people can edit or delete the copies, but the original photos are unsafe. Sorry, the original photos are safe. So that's why returning the copy of mutable object instead of returning the reference is useful. Summarize the thing. So what is immutable object? So immutability means that the once the object is created, its state cannot be changed. So whatever the metadata inside this object, that cannot be changed. So once we initialize it, is the best example for immutable class. So string class in Java is immutable. So if you try to change the string, the Java doesn't modify the original object. Instead, it creates a new object in a memory. So already I have explained you with the code. So see, so why immutable is useful? So it is a thread safe, caching, and predictable behavior. I have explained you with example like thread safe, that, and after that I will also explain you with real-time example, the code. Caching also we have seen in this video, and so caching means the immutable object can be reused safely because the state doesn't change. Okay, then also use the what is intern does. Intern means we are explicitly force the code to search the string pool. If the object is present, return the same object, or else you can create a new one if it does not exist. So that is the use of intern. That is a predictable behavior. Then how to create a custom class, that we have to make the class final, make the fields as a private and final, don't provide the setters, return the copy of the mutable object instead of returning the reference. So this is the most important thing. So example of Java type that does not need copies. So int, float, double, boolean, the primitive types does not require, don't need a copy. Okay, immutable object, that is string, integer, big decimal, local date, does not require copy. Why don't immutable type need copies? So immutable in nature. So in the immutable object cannot be changed after they are created. So I told you that if it is created, so this is create, it cannot be changed. It's created, there is no risk of accidental modification by another piece of code. Okay, so these are like accidental modification we have did, but the original one is remain the same. There is no modification in original one. Here is see, 25 we modify with the 30, the original state remain the same. We can access it via object. So that's why it's saying there is no risk of accidental modification by another piece of code. So when you return the reference to the immutable object, the caller can use safely without affecting the original one. So this is the thing. And we also see the example of string, integer, also see the real life example. So yeah, so that's it for video. Thank you.